Okay, well, back here for a little Wednesday WOD Talk, little hump day WOD Talk. We're going to go into a deadlift cycle. As we saw in the open, they gave us a very, very heavy deadlift for even more reps than we ever assumed that they would give us. We did a very similar program last year in the off season. I think a lot of people really benefited from this tempo work, getting a lot of exposure to the deadlifts, right? Working on positions, working on the pull from the floor. So we're going to kind of introduce some volume today, get comfortable with the tempo on the deadlifts, and kind of feel how it is. And then starting in the next few weeks, we'll start building off of this. So it's 3 to 5 sets. Obviously, you get to feel it out based off of your body, how we feel, how much volume we want to accumulate on the first day. I'm going to do 5 reps, and it's going to be a 3-1-X1 tempo, which basically means you're going to reset on the ground each time. So the tempo is on the way down. Okay, don't be confused that the tempo is on the way up. So the deadlift speed on the way up is going to be normal. So on the first one, we pick it up normally. We're going to go 3 seconds down to the ground. You're going to pause on the ground, come to a complete stop, work on recreating and resetting tension, and then we're exploding up like we normally would do on the deadlift. So the reason why we do this tempo when we're trying to build just the overall strength of the movement is obviously if we're touch and going, right, we're using the momentum of the bar, we're using the stretch reflex in the body, which is aiding in moving the barbell, but being able to create tension on the floor from a dead stop and move this weight completely without any momentum is obviously a lot more challenging. So your weights for this 5 reps is going to be obviously limited based off of the tempo and the bar being stopped. So again, feel this out. Keep it a little bit lighter than you would normally go if we were building this in a progression state, and just get comfortable with the tempo, get comfortable with the track all the way down the body. We're keeping the barbell as close as you can to the legs all the way down. Right? If we do slow tempo, the barbell starts to leak out in front. It's just going to put pressure on our low back, and obviously we don't want that. So if we track the barbell literally down the legs the entire way, you're going to be able to use your midline, you're going to be able to use your posterior chain and all of the surrounding muscles, and it's going to be a lot more beneficial. So 3 to 5 sets, 5 reps. This is pretty fatiguing, so you are going to need a little bit of a break in between. I wouldn't expect anybody to be able to knock out 5 sets in a row. So give yourself a couple minutes in between. Make sure that we can replicate the perfect technique, perfect function, and perfect movement pattern and tempo, and we'll get a lot of benefit from this, all right? So that'd be sweet. You probably want to use a flip grip. If you want to work on a little bit more grip strength, you can go with an overhand clean grip. But if you're looking just for probably more position work and pull from the floor for just like your touch and go deadlift weight, you probably just want to use a flip grip. Okay. The accessory work is barbell RDLs and dumbbell step ups. So you got 10 RDLs. Most people who have pretty good hamstring mobility or pretty good hinge mobility are going to need to be elevated on, a 45-pound plate or a couple plates so we can get a little bit lower. But the key to this, right, we have the barbell up in the top of our hips, slight knee bend, and we just push the hips back and the chest comes forward as far as we can until the hamstrings say no more. Feel that tension, and then we want to squeeze with the glutes and the hamstrings and pull back up. So there's kind of a trick to this. It's pretty easy to roll our shoulders forward, and that actually relaxes the posterior chain so you can go farther. So use an even lighter weight than you think you should, and keep your back as flat as you can, as perfectly flat as you can. And then you're going to be limited on the actual depth that you can get because the muscles are actually going to be stretched to their full potential, and the tension is going to get there a little bit quicker. So flat back, a little bit lighter, go nice and slow on the way down. You probably should be doing this with a tempo as well. Shouldn't be just ripping up and down on these. So nice and slow on the way down for 10 reps, and then you're just going to do 10 total step ups, so 5 on each leg, so you have an opportunity to load these up a little bit heavier than we normally would. So you can hold 1 dumbbell, you can hold 2 dumbbells on the side, doesn't matter to me. I think sometimes when you hold the dumbbells at the side in farmer carry, you're going to get a little bit more grip strength out of it, which is great. But for something like this, I would say you probably want to use a heavier dumbbell up on our shoulders so we can just focus on the good step up position with our legs and not have to worry about hanging on to the dumbbells. But that's your choice, up to you. Okay. Again, probably going to be pretty fatiguing, so we're going to need a little bit of rest in between these sets. So use appropriate weights where we do need a little bit of rest, and we should be good. Okay. And the Metcon is some rowing intervals, so I love this setup. Every 2.5 minutes, we're going to do a 500-meter row, 430 for the ladies. Make this split so that we can maintain somewhere around a 2-minute-ish split to start, maybe a little bit more. But the goal of any kind of rowing intervals that we're doing here is consistency. And in fact, in this one, we actually want to try to negative split our rows. So you should be able to keep a very consistent pace across the board on all of these. with the minimal rest even, and that's the goal, or even to build up to that goal. So take the first couple a little bit slower and think or try to even if you improve your pace by 1 second every single row, that's kind of the intentions of this, is to learn pacing, learn kind of how fast we can go and recover in a minimum time frame, and actually go a little bit faster as we go. So that'll be your goal for tomorrow for all 5 sets. Start a little bit slower and build an intensity until the last one. Obviously the last one should be the fastest, since we're emptying the tank, and have some fun with this. So you can work on rowing efficiency on the slower ones so that it transitions into the later rounds, and they are it's just second nature of efficiency. So breathe on the way in, exhale on the way out. Make sure we go all the way in, all the way out. Good stroke. And we're using our legs first, body and arms second. And work on your breathing pattern, because it's really important to breathe when we get into the row. So should be a really beneficial day tomorrow. If you have questions, let me know. If not, have a great hump day workout, and we will see you in the gym. Toodles, Wolf Pack.